Hello, dear viewers. Namaskar. Welcome to Moksha Media. You are with Moksha Hiremat. Prasaadi Bhoganna was a Sharana. Most of us do not know anything about Prasaadi Bhoganna. Prasaadi Bhoganna's vachanas are found. We do not have that much of details regarding his life, family, and environment. Of course, by his vachanas, we come to know what type of Sharana he was. One thing is very clear to us. Prasaadi Bhoganna was lived in Kalyana. Now Kalyana is in the district of Bidar of modern Karnataka, India. Once upon a time, that Kalyana was the capital of Chalukya kings. Of course, Vijaya occupied it later and became Raja of that Kalyana. In one way or another way, that Vijaya was a relative of Chalukya kings. That does not mean all the kings of Chalukyas are belonged to the religion of Vijaya or vice versa. In the 12th century of Common Era, in the history of Karnataka, a movement took place against oppression, depression, exploitation, and gender discrimination. But gender discrimination didn't mean that ladies or women should behave like men. Women should perform what men would do. They had to perform as per anatomy as women and men as men. But that didn't mean they were lost of opportunity. That is, they were have the equal opportunities as men had. That was the concept of gender equality. Of course, so many Sharanas came from the exploited class. They were belonged to the caste and class which was looked down upon others. Of course, the higher echelons in the caste of the class society did not like even their behaviors. They did not want to see their faces. They wanted they should serve them as servants and slaves. Of course, under the leadership of Basava, so many Sharanas came together. They revolted against the existing system, and Prasaadi Bhoganna was one of them. Most of the Sharanas composed vachanas. Vachanas were media to express their thoughts, feelings, emotions, views, and etc. etc. Of course, it was a new form which is developed in the 12th, which is developed and enhanced in the 12th century of Common Era in the history of Karnataka. That doesn't mean that Vachanas were originated in the 12th century itself. No, they had their own history. That history went beyond 9th and 10th century of Common Era in the history of Kannada literature and language. And so many Sharanas came from oppressed class, used Vachanas as their media to express their emotions. They used the common language. They were against the established language because established language did not express their emotions and thoughts properly. So they used common people's language, they expressed it simple language, and they made the common people understood the importance of life and the way of life and the objectives of life. That it didn't mean all of them were educated in the sense they did not know how to write, but they expressed it before others in Anubhava Mantapa, and some Sharanas were there in Anubhava Mantapa who knew the writing. And those Sharanas wrote what other Sharanas composed and expressed in the Anubhava Mantapa. The Anubhava Mantapa is like a parliament of India nowadays. Of course, some people, some political historians feel that a parliament of India is the embryo of Anubhava Mantapa of Kalyana. Anyhow, like this, the Sharanas expressed their thoughts, and Prasaadi Bhoganna was not an exception to this. We have found 103 Vachanas of Prasaadi Bhoganna. And when we go through those Vachanas, we see the philosophy and the images, simplicity, and convenience, and convince the even common listeners and readers. If you come to know some of his Vachanas, you will notice how these Vachanas are packed with the philosophy and images. Here I quote only 3 of his Vachanas for your information. If I want to see the truth through philosophy, if I want to see the truth through philosophy, it is like mirror in the hands of a monkey. It is like a mirror in the hands of a monkey. Shows nothing but what I do and no other quality. If I want to call you in the hills and caves, it is just a call. As much faith as I have, Channa Basavanna Priya, Bhogamallikarjuna, is that much. Of course, Channa Basavanna Priya, Bhogamallikarjuna is the signature of Prasaadi Bhoganna. He composed his vachanas under the signature of Channabasavana Priya Bhogamallikarjuna. It was common, even today it is common, that vachanas composed or used the signature of their like. So that is the speciality of vachanas. So in this vachana, we have the mention of philosophy, mirror and monkey, and hills and caves. Of course, everyone tries to seek the truth. In order to know the truth, they go in search of it in a philosophy. But philosophy is like a mirror. That mirror is in the hands of a monkey. What monkey sees in the mirror except its own image, except its childish behaviors, and etc. etc. What you do in the mirror, you can see it. It does not show more than that. So that is why mirror is there in the hands of monkey, and that philosophy does not carry us in reality towards the truth in the strict sense. And so, Prasaadi Bhoganna wants to call his Ishtadaiva in the hills and caves, believing that Bhogamallikarjuna would be there in the caves and the hills. That faith is important, in the life. Belief is very important in the life. If once you lose belief or faith, you cannot be believed. Especially in modern days, we can see how that faith works in the restaurants, in the family life, and in other cases. Of course, nowadays, most of this faith is diluted in the face of real faith. There would be an action of the faith in the family, which has spoiled the Indian family life. So, he was a believer of Channabasavana Priya Bhogamallikarjuna. That is why he went in search of that Mallikarjuna, and he called him in caves and hills. Then the next one, devotion is root, detachment is a tree, knowledge is fruit. When the fruit is ripe, it is knowledge limited. When it leaves the stalk, it is knowledge unlimited. When it is tasted, it is knowledge internalized. When the pleasure becomes itself, it is a knowledge divine. When the divine light is not abated, it is knowledge complete. As Channabasavana Priya Bhogamallikarjuna is measureless. You cannot say it is the body of the thing. Here, Prasaadi Bhoganna gives us the example of a tree. That a tree has a root, it has branches, it has fruits. The root of the tree is like a devotion. That devotion is very strong. If root is not strong, the tree will not stand. Like that, life requires devotion. Without devotion, life becomes a rootless tree which can be fallen at any time. Of course, devotion is a root, detachment is a tree. As the time goes on and on, the tree is detached from the root. And of course, it bears fruits, and those fruits are knowledge. When they are ripe, it is knowledge limited. When the fruits leave the stalk, the knowledge is unlimited. When the fruit is completely ripened, it falls from the tree and it is completely deviated from the root. At that time, it is knowledge unlimited. But when someone picks up that fruit, ripened fruit, and tastes it, the knowledge is internalized. Very fantastic, because there is a connection between externalization and internalization. In order to enjoy the knowledge, internalization of the knowledge is important. Externalization leads to internalization. Of course, when one gets pleasure himself, that knowledge becomes divine. That means divine pleasure is important, We talk of human relationship, especially relationship means between man and woman. Is it the relationship? To what extent that relationship would be remain forever and ever? Of course, until the body has the beauty, strength, etc. That human relationship, that is the flesh relationship between man and woman is very, very, very temporary. But that cannot be said of a divine relationship, divine knowledge. That divine knowledge is very important, If that divine knowledge, that divine light is not searched, is not sought, then knowledge complete. That is, a man should seek the divine light, then only knowledge would be completed. So, Channa Basavanna Priya Bhogamallikarjuna is measureless. You cannot measure Channa Basavanna Bhogamallikarjuna. He was beyond the space. He was everywhere in earth, sky, air, fire, and etc. So he was beyond your measurement. So then you cannot say it is the body. It is a body and beyond the body. It is a body more than a body. That is what we have to understand. Then, next one. It may be a ball of metal, but can it fierce before it becomes a sword? It may be a flowering plant, but where is its fragrance before it flowers? That is the explanation of duality and non-duality in the Channa Basavanna Priya Bhogamallikarjuna. The question of duality and non-duality is there. Some stands for duality and others for non-duality. Of course, in the beginning that duality is there, but as the man goes on and on, he becomes non-dual. Here Prasaadi Bhoganna clarifies it by giving the example of a metal. So, metal is simple. It might be a lump of some lohas. It is a ball of metals. But when we shape sword out of that metal, it pierces the body. So, metal is shaped as a sword, and that sword pierces the body of others. Then he gives the example of flowering plant. A plant gives us flower, but that flower doesn't have fragrance before it. When it has fragrance, when that fragrance spreads here and there, we come to know the importance of fragrance. That fragrance is inbuilt. So like that, metal is a duality, that sword is a duality, that the fragrance of the flower is non-duality. One is externalized and another one is internalized. Flower in the beginning is externalized, but as fragrance spreads here and there, it is internalized, and then it becomes non-duality. That is why both of them are there in the life of a man. That is duality and non-duality. We have to understand this, and accordingly we have to shape our lives and the society. Like this, under the signature of Channa Basavanna Priya Bhogamallikarjuna, Prasaadi Bhoganna gives the message to the society. You cannot say Prasaadi Bhoganna was uneducated. He was educated in the strict sense. He might not be read the Vedas and other things, but he knew the kernel of those things. That is the strength of Prasaadi Bhoganna and Sharanas, and like other Sharanas. So it shows how Prasaadi Bhoganna understood, analyzed, and gave message to the society for the development, for the health of the society. So, my dear viewers, share and subscribe, and see you in the next episode. Namaskar.